is supposed to be in Tharaka Nithi, not in Meru County. In Isiolo, those who are from Isiolo, you can see your areas. Then we can proceed to the next slide, please. Marsabit, in that order, you also can see yourselves there, the areas you need to take keen interest on. In terms of cannabis trafficking, these are the routes. Our main source is actually Ethiopia, Shashamane, and there is also other areas where it's being grown. Then moves to Moyale, Marsabit, and at the same time, they can go along the border to northeastern and find their way into eastern, even to Mombasa. The final destination, the major final destination for cannabis from Ethiopia is actually Mombasa and Lamu. And you can see from the illustration how it follows. They can go to Samburu, they go through Loyangalani and still find themselves back to Nairobi and Mombasa. They also can use the Laikipia route depending with the intelligence they also have, if there is an ambush or if there is a raid going on. We can move to the next slide. These are other trafficking routes per county. We managed to classify them per county, so these can be shared. So you can see where your county, if you are in the security sector, where to lay emphasis in terms of ambush and crackdowns. So that's still continuation of trafficking routes. Now, we have a major problem, sir, with your permission. Allow me to mention that ethanol and smuggled alcohol is also becoming a problem. If we didn't have smuggled ethanol into this region, we will not be complaining of illicit and second generation alcohol. Most of the ethanol that comes illegally to this region actually comes from Tanzania, ladies and gentlemen. It either goes through Namanga route, Lungalunga border, Tafeta, and Isebania. It can go to Nairobi through Mombasa Road, of course. Then also it can go direct to Eastern, also through Mombasa Road. But you realize, if it goes to Nairobi, it comes through Central. Why we are using, allow me to call it that crooked arrow, is because they don't use a particular path. Actually, most of time, these cartels use, or the smugglers, use panya routes, depending with the information they have. So they don't go on a straight line. So when we are embarking on crackdown or when we are laying ambush, we need to be wary of other panya routes. From Eastern, it can go also to Central. From Nairobi, it can go to Central and come back to Eastern. The next slide, please. We also have another source of smuggled ethanol and alcohol from Uganda, like you can see. If it goes through Malaba or Busia, it can find its way into the Rift Valley. They can drive through to Nairobi or Central region, then find their way into Eastern region. But if they drive from Nairobi to Eastern direct, they also, Eastern inaweza gawia Central. So that's why I'm showing it can still go back to Central or even Nairobi. These are some of our existing strategies or what we've been doing as a region. First, we want to do a survey to know where we are. We could be talking of a problem that is non-existent. But as I've presented, you've seen our survey is very clear that we have a problem. We've also managed to come out with the hotspots areas. And there are crackdowns which have been going. That's why we managed to net whatever we've been able to net. We have both national and county laws being enforced within the region. Next slide. We have taken also public education a notch higher, even as in Nakanda. We have media-based. We have consultative forums. We normally meet. The security agencies in this region normally meet annually or twice a year to deliberate on the status and the way forward. It's just because of finances, sir, that we haven't managed to meet this year. But with your presence here, I'm sure something good will come out of it. We have community-based outreach, where we have programs for youth. We have positive parenting programs, even church-based programs and other faith-based programs. These are the challenges. I would request we move to the next slide because I've shown the challenge and what we are proposing. Yes, availability and accessibility of a cheap alcohol in the region. The reason this being that we have actually a lot of ethanol, illegal ethanol around. So there is a lot of home brewing, even on-bar brewing, where the bar owner can brew his own alcohol and sell it there. How dangerous it is, you can see. What we are recommending as a region is that let's try raise the minimum packaging to 500 ml for the spirit-infused beer, so that we also deny the affordability can go down. We also need to limit number of outlets. Like I know it's happening here. And I'm meeting with the governor. He called us for a meeting. Embu is also taking shape. And also we need to be very strict to our manufacturers. And also at the same time subject them to a level playground. We have manufacturers who have not installed flow meters. They have the excise licenses, others have. Those who don't have, and they don't have the RANDA system, and this I'm talking knowing KRA are here, those who don't have are being used because nobody can be able to monitor the activities. Your Excellency, with the RANDA system and flow meters, you are able to tell real time what that manufacturer is doing while you are at the comfort of your office. You can see what is being manufactured, packaged, and dispatched. But without the flow meters and the RANDA system, it's difficult. So those who have are contracting those who don't have, so that they can do their illegal trade inside that factories. Again, when we license manufacturers, it's like we rarely they do. That's why people will dispense alcohol with zero sticker for KRA. We lose on revenue, and when it goes out in a fanana na zile zingine, be able to tell who has manufactured what. There is also influx of narcotics and other substances. We need effective border controls. Ladies and gentlemen, our borders are quite porous. Let's agree that people have a lot of panyaroots where they can sneak in contraband products, even including and drugs into this country. We also need stiffer penalties for drug traffickers. When somebody is arrested, you give him a lenient sentence or a fine, he pays and goes back. We have met such cases severally, Your Excellency, where you have someone being arrested, akifika kotini, he is fined 50,000. His colleagues pay, and they are willing to pay that times 10 so that they can secure his release. We have an appeal from Meru community that there is somebody, a drug baron, who is well known. He was released from the prison, and now again people are writing to us that he's becoming a problem. So if we have stricter penalties, I guess this will work as a deterrent mechanism. We have abuse of manufacturing licenses. I've just talked about it, that people are licensed, then after that, they don't do what they were licensed to do. They start doing other illegal activities inside those factories. If somebody was supposed to use steel tanks, we go for inspection, he has all the steel tanks. When you go back, he has converted into using plastic tanks, which are more lethal, actually even in terms of bleeding and bleeding bacteria. We have escorting of narcotics by armed militias. As I mentioned, that actually drugs are being used to finance criminal activities by Al-Shabaab and other militias from Ethiopia. That one is well known. Now what they have resorted into doing, they are escorting, they have an armed wing of the same militia, which are escorting drug traffickers and barons. And sometimes they even use donkeys. If you arrest a donkey, Your Excellency, where do you take it? You just have to leave it, you take the substance, you go destroy it, because the owner is not there. And those donkeys are well trained. They know where to, the point where they are, the source to where they are going, the destination point, and going back. The next slide, please. We have an unregulated manufacturer and sale of pounded beer. Currently, ladies and gentlemen, especially in Eastern, we've been grappling with the presence of pounded beer, disguising as animal fins. We have Dume, we have Pweza, and we have Guzo. Though we have partly dealt with the factory, which I know is located somewhere in Munene, in Thika, the 3 factories. So this has been a problem here because this product is being sold in non-grovets. Children can access, and all what you need is actually a cup of hot water. And in the next 1 minute, ukikoroga, you have your drink, your children are high, you get home, you think you have made them so happy, but you are dealing with people who are already high. That's one of the problems we have. What we are suggesting as agencies is that let even the manufacturers of this pounded product, the pounded beer, be subjected to the same treatment with other manufacturers. Let them not be given a leeway. If it's beer, whether pounded or in liquid form, let them be taken through the same process. We have poor role modeling. You remember during the campaign, sir, allow me to mention this, there was that clamor that there was presidential candidates who were hoping to legalize marijuana. That is poor role modeling, because now it has become so stuck in some of the minds of our youths that they are relating it to power and authority. So these are people we have a lot to do so that we can undo that damage. So even as our leaders, let us address what can help our nation. We rarely have matter-agency involvement, but I am happy to report actually Meru County, Tharaka Nithi, Isiolo, and Embu, as Nakanda, we feel involved currently. Before we were not. It's good I be very honest. I end up meeting with the leadership of Meru County, the liquor board, liquor control board. I know the governor is here. She was the governor here has called us for meetings. The governor of Embu has called us for meetings. Isiolo, we have been given the authority to license by the county because they don't have the liquor law as they prepare their liquor law. So we will be able to compare notes and see what not to permit and what to permit. We have cultural and societal tendencies. It's like people have glorified alcohol in some of these institutions and maybe in functions at home. Mzazi anabeba pombe, it's allowed, and you know very well, even legally, we are not allowed to have beer anywhere near children. Diversion of ethanol, these I have talked about it, that manufacturers who have permit to purchase ethanol are the same people who are actually diverting this ethanol. Because they don't want to pay tax when they dilute the same ethanol, they are actually diverting it to counterfeiters. Someone has a factory somewhere in Nairobi, but he has a sub-factory in Embu which is not known. And that's where that ethanol goes. And I came to learn that ethanol is more profitable than making it, because when you make it into beer form, you are likely to pay tax. But with the diversion, you don't pay tax, but you're able to sell it and make a kill. We talked of court fines, which are lenient. We need them to be stricter. So we also request for the adequate budget and human resource. I will give an example of Nakanda in this region. We are only 3 officers. I have myself, my colleague Alice, and Elizabeth. Now that we are here, if something happens in Machakos, we are not able to attend to it because we are here. We need more human resource. I know ACA operates from Nairobi. When we are doing a crackdown, itabidi tunamtafuta. The same time crackdown is taking place in Nairobi, Mombasa, all those areas. If we can have these officers county-based, that will be very easy. I'm sure the governors will not be struggling to call us because there are things which require our intervention and immediate intervention. We have issue of emerging trends, sir. We have a problem actually with online marketing and sale of alcohol. There is no means of verifying whether this is an underage. They only need to pay and the product is delivered. So you as a parent, you are busy working, or as a parent, I'm busy making this presentation, but my children are busy purchasing and consuming alcohol at home. We need to review our laws that they can address the emerging trend, knowing that the issues of alcohol and substance use is quite dynamic. They keep changing. We do not have a lot of money on our highways. That's why these panya routes are there. Drugs cartels and smugglers of alcohol and ethanol, they can use. It's Kanyonyo roadblock, it is known it is Kanyonyo. Other areas are left unmanned, so people take advantage. We have a lot of cultivation of cannabis in this than the one coming from from Ethiopia and other places. Our own farms, including our forest here in Mount Kenya, Timau area, people are literally converting that one. We have suggested that we need to map those areas and let action be taken by us. We do not have means to detect what is in the vehicles. Sometimes we end an instance where somebody was disguising that he was transporting hay to Meru, only to realize when we dug deeper that he was actually carrying and drums of ethanol. So until you chokore twizo vitu, you are not likely to know what he is carrying. We really need modern equipment. I feel for the officers at Archer's Post. Sometimes you go there, sir, and you feel for them because they have to kupekua every piece. If they end modern equipment, we have inadequate communication strategies and technologies, and we need latest communication gadgets, inadequate consultation among players, because sometimes things are being done, kila mtu kivyake. So you realize what I've done as Nakanda, I've done the wrong thing. And I consultant KEPS probably would have a recommendation. Increased cases of drug trafficking in areas with reported cases of smuggling and firearm terrorism and human trafficking. That's why I mentioned that this is becoming a problem even under threat. This is that they use alcohol and drugs to finance their criminal activities. Delayed conclusion of court cases and police stations have become the dumping site of cannabis. And sometimes you feel for the officers manning the OB area because most of them are ever drunk and it's not their wish. We can have this, we have a law which allows immediate seizure and forfeiture of the same and the destruction of this, what we have seized. It would save us a lot of agony. Because the other alternative is, I would invite you to visit Isiolo, also visit Marsabit. You feel for the officers who are there. We have struggled to ensure it is destroyed, but so long as the court case is ongoing, that cannabis has to stay there, even if it's for 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my presentation, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Njero. Now, it's my pleasure to invite the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration to make a few remarks and invite His Excellency the Deputy President.
Excellency, Deputy President, all protocols observed, good morning. Your Excellency, this is the third conference of this nature. We have been in Mount Kenya, West. We also have been in Rift Valley, Nakuru, and we are happy today to be in Upper Eastern for this very important national conversation. Excellency, I want to thank you and the President for the leadership that you continue to give to this endeavor. We are agreed generally as a country that this matter of illicit alcohol and the sale and use of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances is no longer a general matter. This matter is now personal. It is personal, Your Excellency, because sadly, every home today in Kenya has an issue, either directly or indirectly, of a member of the family, a relative, who is struggling with addiction or who has been run over by toxic substances and the consumption of dangerous drugs and alcohol. Not many homes are free of this problem. And therefore, it is no longer a general issue. It is a personal matter for every Kenyan. And Your Excellency, unless we sustain total war on this cancer, we stand to lose a whole generation. And I shudder to imagine what this country will look like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, and thereafter, when many of us in this room will not be available to occupy the positions that we occupy today as leaders, as parents, as grown-ups. Your Excellency, for us in the Interior Ministry, we consider the sale and use of illicit alcohol, toxic and dangerous substances, narcotics. We consider this as one of our top 5 national security threats, with equal future of our nation as the other threats that we consider to be top 5. As we all know, terrorism remains the existential threat to our nation, and that's why this country for the last so many years has invested huge resources to sustain the war against terror. We have opened another war which we intend to sustain against people who have been using culture, with about a third of the counties of Kenya affected, but about 13 counties most affected, including counties in this region. But the same risk and danger that terrorists pose on our people, the same risk and damage that bandits pose on the security of our nation, it is actually the same risk and danger that the people who manufacture, distribute, and sell dangerous, toxic substances that are destroying the health of an entire nation. It is the same risk that they pose. There's no difference. In fact, I dare say, what these substances are doing to this nation is worse than the damage that has been caused, even by bandits and terrorists, in terms of numbers. If we are not careful, we do not have a country. And I shudder to imagine what when it is our time to go. Your Excellency, therefore, this exercise, I don't see it as a one-off thing. And once more, thank you for the leadership that you continue to give. On behalf of the President, And the same energy, vigor, focus, and clarity of mind that we have shown in other threats to our national security is the same vigor, energy, and clarity of mind and focus that we are going to show as we take up the measures that will be recommended from this multi-sectoral and stakeholder engagement. Your Excellency, we will increase our budget at the Ministry of Interior to deal with this problem. The same way, we have increased our budget in the fight against terror and the fight against bandits. I see no reason why, for example, NACADA should continue being underfunded. I want to thank you for your intervention. Going forward, we will fund NACADA a little more. But once we do that, we will also demand accountability from NACADA. We do not want to come here and get statistics from NACADA. We want to get results. We want to be told what the taxpayers' money that we are going to enhance for you will bring in terms of making this country free from this dangerous phenomena. Your Excellency, there is no need of the country spending lots of money on education and health and agriculture if there are no people to benefit from those programs. And therefore, from us in the Interior Ministry, the corner where we have put bandits and terrorists is the corner where we have put those who manufacture, distribute, and sell dangerous substances and narcotic drugs to our children and to our people. Our WhatsApp group moja. The same. And for a long time, we have tried in the past to deal with the cartels in this sector. They resist because they bribe government officials, and sometimes even government officials have been part of the businesses. They bribe away with this matter for a long time. I am afraid to say, this time round, there is no small monies to murder our children, that allow them lose lives in the manner in which the member for this area was saying. You will have a case to answer, not in the future, now. Any chief, any police officer who is receiving protection money from brewers, from drug peddlers, you are a threat to our national security. We'll get rid of you. We'll get rid of you. And as the Deputy President and the President has said many times, we will not transfer you to another station. We have stopped that business. Yes. We are not going to take you from Tharaka Nithi to Bungoma, because Bungoma is also part of the Republic of Kenya. And they deserve as good services as the people of Tharaka Nithi, isn't it? The politicians who have been receiving funding from these dangerous brewers of toxic substances and drugs, we are going to arrest you and prosecute you without exception. It doesn't matter who you are, whoever you are. The problem with a politician, because I've been one for a while, they have a sense of entitlement, and they believe because you've been voted for, you can overrun the country's legal system, you can do whatever you want, because you've been elected. Please, we're going to track every political leader who is part of this dangerous scheme to undermine our country's security. We'll investigate you very carefully. Once we get good evidence, we'll arrest you, prosecute you, and make sure you are convicted. And even if you are released by court, we'll appeal and keep on appealing. And eventually, if you are released, we'll see what else we can do. And I mean business. This should go out to all politicians, whether they are in the government party, Kenya Kwanza, or they are in the opposition. It really doesn't matter. This job I'm doing is very unpopular, and I have accepted. So I'm going to lose very many friends. Very many friends I am going to lose, and brothers and sisters with whom we have walked very difficult journeys together. But unfortunately, when it comes to service to the country, our country is bigger than friendship and brotherhood. So we'll arrest many of you, governors, senators, women reps, MCAs, all manner of people. Yes. And I said all manner of people. All manner of people does not exclude any person. Yes. And government officials, let me say this, Your Excellency, in your presence. Because I've listened to you, I've listened to President William Ruto. We are not doing very well as public servants, especially those of us who are serving in the public service. We are not doing very well. Those colleagues of mine who are serving with me in the Interior Ministry, the police, Ngao, we are not doing so well. That is the truth. People don't regard us very highly. They think there are some things we are not doing so well, because some of us take bribes, others look the other way and allow injustice to flourish, and we have no regard to the interest of the people who have no say in society. So we must build our image and rebuild public trust and confidence, so that when citizens see a chief, when citizens see an ACC, a regional commissioner, when they see an OCS, they should see safety, security, rescue, and professionalism. At the moment, you can take a poll. Just take a poll. Take a poll and find out what people think about us. So we have a long way to go. And this is one area where I am afraid senior officers receive protection money to keep some of these criminals in business. And you're calling yourself a commander of something, a commissioner of something. We cannot allow this to happen over and over again. And as I've said, all the escape routes now have been sealed off. Because I know what President William Ruto has decided on matters of national security. Number one, no politics. Because you bring politics to national security, you destroy the country. Number two, we must be accountable. So we have a job to do, all of us. I know chiefs are finding it difficult to enforce the law because at the moment you require seamless support from the National Police Service. We are rectifying that issue because we don't have two countries. We have not one country. Law enforcement is for the country, and we must all deliver as one. And therefore, very soon we are going to announce reforms to allow national government administration officers to be supported by the National Police Service to enforce the law in a seamless manner. Na tuache hii vita vidogo vidogo vya upumbavu. Sijui sisi ni polisi, sisi ni ngao, sisi ni nini. Unaharibu nchi. Yeah? You can't deliver alone. We need to work together. So those reforms are on the way. And they will be passed. They will be pushed through. Yeah. We are not going to ask for democracy. We will push them through because they are in the national interest. So that a chief doesn't struggle. Some of my chiefs have been killed in bandit areas because they are tracking livestock and they are only carrying a stick, and those bandits are armed with very sophisticated weapons. Now, as I go on to finish, there is an ongoing crackdown on all unlicensed outlets for manufacture, distribution, and sale of illicit, of all unlicensed outlets of manufacture, distribution, and sale of alcohol. And on the question of second generation alcoholic drinks, which is a major issue, and the question of ethanol, I want to agree with the presenter from NACADA that many of the licensees who are genuinely licensed are subcontracted their production to others, and they are some of the ethanol that they are legitimately using under their license is being used to concoct other things that are substandard and unhealthy. Also, some of the licensees are running parallel production facilities. You have one which does the licensed stuff, and then you have another one which KRA and KEBS and ACA have no idea where that facility is. For that reason, we are going to review all the licenses involved in the manufacture, distribution, and sale of second generation alcohol in the Republic of Kenya afresh. We look at them afresh. So the fact that you have a license doesn't allow you, we have to review again. And those who are doing legitimate production, as I said in Nakuru, we are not fighting legitimate businesses that have been licensed by the government of Kenya and are selling substances that have been approved by the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Anti-Counterfeit Agency, and Kenya Bureau of Standards. We are not fighting legitimate businesses. But we must review all the licenses afresh to find out, first of all, if they are complying with all the laws, if they are flouting the laws by having parallel production facilities or subletting or taking some of the ethanol to people who are using it to produce substandard alcohol. We'll revoke the licenses and take you to court. But those who are doing the right thing have nothing to fear. We will protect businesses that pay tax, that manufacture things that have been approved by government agencies. And I look forward to a sober country, and a country where those of us who are in my age bracket and older, they know in the days gone by, alcohol used to be sold during certain hours. Not like today when our children are taking alcohol at 9 o'clock in the morning. It should be sold at 5 o'clock. And the advertisers used to say, baada ya kazi, after work. Today, ni badala ya kazi. Alcohol today ni badala ya kazi, sio baada ya kazi. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, asanteni sana. Siku hizi sina story mingi. Story yangu ni hiyo ya kupambana na wahalifu mahali walipo. I don't have another story. Mr. Deputy President, thank you very much. Na ni kama umeishishi hapa, umekuwa hii area for a while, karibu sana. We don't mind hata ukitaka kukaa. You can ask the files to be brought here. We'll sign documents from here for another week or 2 weeks. But thank you very much for finding time to come. I know you're very busy and your office is serving the whole country, but we thank you for the 3-4 days that you've spent in this region, bringing all these counties together, mainly in the former Eastern region, trying to solve some of our problems. It was coffee, and now it is drugs and alcohol. I request that we all be upstanding as we invite His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of Kenya. Welcome, Mr. Deputy President.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. My younger brother, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Minister for Interior and National Administration, Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Akumisha, Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Honorable Mithika Linturi, Principal Secretary for Interior, Dr. Raymond Omolo, Regional Commissioner, all the security teams present, Excellencies, Governors present, and no other senior government officials. Good morning. God is good, and all the time. I don't think I have much to say. Our good Minister for Interior has said what I needed to say. Mine is just to confirm and assert that what our minister has said has been agreed on at the highest level of this government under the chairmanship of the President, who is the chair of the National Security Council, where Professor Kindiki and I sit. Professor Kindiki has put it bare in a very candid manner, and as the new leadership in this country, we don't want to cheat people and talk to them nicely when we don't mean it. The new administration, headed by President William Ruto, says what it means and means what they say. We have a problem, and a serious one, on the illicit alcohol and drugs and substance abuse. This has gone on for a long time as we watched as officers. I want to request our officers to reconcile their conscience, that much as they are officers, they are also parents. None of your children, including mine, is immune to peer pressure, to veer into drug abuse. Those drugs you are allowed to go through the roadblock. Those peddlers that you protect and take cheap money, they'll fight your own child. They'll find their way to your own child. These children, when they leave in the morning, you don't know where they go. As we sit here, we don't know what they're doing. God has a way of punishing people. If you take bribes for drugs to spoil other people's children, there's a God in heaven. You too have children. I want to talk to you as a parent. I want all of us to agree as we live here that we are parents. And what you like to happen to a child, please wish the same for other people's children. This money from drugs and illicit alcohol cannot take you anywhere. That is why you have found police officers in traffic section. When they get the signal that they are supposed to go home, most of them collapse there on the floor. Because they are used to getting money from the road every day. And money that you get cheaply and that causes pain to other people, it goes that easily. So you find these officers have saved nothing. Anaambiwa siku imefika ya kwenda nyumbani, anaanguka chini. They don't know where to begin. That's why I like today's pay slips, unlike our times when I was in the public service. They even remind you when you are retiring. So that it is a constant reminder that you will not be in this job forever. We have a problem. And the problem is that the previous administration allowed this thing to go on without blinking an eye. And our officers in the National Government Administration were deployed to non-core functions that have nothing to do with their job description. All these county commissioners here, all these deputy county commissioners here, all these ACCs here, before we took over, for about 4 years, they had been deployed to market BBI and to sell Project Azimio. They were not interested in alcohol and drug abuse. They were selling some useless projects that would not go anywhere. They were deployed to a non-core faction. They did so badly in that deployment, and they did so badly in the duties they had absconded. So tukaenda hasara pande zote. Lakini kwa hiyo hasara ya nyinyi kutukufaulu, sisi tukapata. Professor has said here, President William Ruto has pronounced himself, and he told the county commissioners and regional commissioners when they called on him, this administration will never deploy you to do politics. First and foremost, because it's wrong. Two, and in the most realistic manner, you are also bad at it. Because you tried and you failed. So we would be stupid to rely on you to do our politics. You can't. You havana kazi yenu na muijui. Nyinyi mnafikiria mkiwa na crown na kuna mtu mnamwambia pale ataweka kura. You cheat yourselves. Wanawaambia ndio, wanafanya opposite. William Ruto na mimi hatuna haja mtu saidie kwa siasa yetu. Hata tukimwambia mtu saidie mtu tuharibia. Hatuna haja. We will never deploy you into politics, including our own members wa Kenya Kwanza. Hawa kina Naomi ati akwambia umfanyie siasa, umwambie atembee. Hiyo hapana kazi yako. You cannot do politics. Police officers were used to do politics. Kuliko waende wakachukue pombe, walikuwa wanatumwa kutawanya mikutano yetu, na hata wanatoa mpaka hema kama hii. Police officers dismantling tent like this one. They are not trained in matters, erection and dismantling of tents. I don't think that was taught anywhere in Keganjo or in Embakasi. You know, misuse of public officers for a selfish and a stupid cause. A whole government took time to deploy government officers paid with public resources to do something that they are not trained for, that has nothing to do with their professional calling, and they are bad at. I want to assure you, please do your work. And that's why we are here to tell you your work, because we need to wake you up. Labda mlisahau mkaenda kwa ile kazi nyingine. Sisi hatuna hiyo biashara na nyinyi. Hata moja. Kura yenu mkitaka kutupatia mtupatie yako wewe na bibi yako. Lakini kututafutia tafadhali msituharibie siasa yetu. Hatuna haja. So let us do the right thing. illicit alcohol. Mwenye kuleta ile pombe baya hapa katika Mlima Kenya alikuwa principal secretary yenu. That is why you could not fight the thing. Ndiye alikuwa anatuma nyinyi kazi nyingine, muachane naye afanye biashara. President William Ruto does not take alcohol. He has no factory, he has no bar. Rigathi Gachagua quit alcohol 15 years ago. He has no intention of going. Japhet Kome ni mtu ya chai. Bwana Kaja ni mtu ya chai. Sasa kama mko mambo ya pombe na bangi, you are on your own. We will sort it out with those who want to go on with us. Wale ambayo wanaona hiyo kazi hawezi saidiana na sisi, we are being very kind by offering you an opportunity to proceed on terminal. Kama hakuna ni sawa, it's good. Let me say, I was in this uniform with the regional commissioner here for 14 years. Trust, I've been away for too long. But for what I can remember, mambo ya illicit alcohol is a simple decision by the commissioner and the commander. If the two agree, it's finished. These assistant chiefs and chiefs, there is nowhere that these things are brewed that they don't know. All this bangi that is sold, the station commanders know. In many instances, 90%, they are the ones who offer them protection and safe passage. That is the truth. Station commanders who are here, who are chief inspectors, I'm looking at you straight in the eye. Straight. You must make a decision today. As you live here, you must live here having made a decision on what you want. Our able professor has explained to you that it has been agreed at the National Security Council, the highest security organ in the country, under the chairmanship of the president, that no CS will go on transfer for allowing crime, peddling of drugs and illicit alcohol in his. That has been agreed on. So tunataka kupeana kazi ya siku 10. Then we start deciding and who is staying. You too. And I'm being very candid because I need to do so. Because it's good to be fair to officers, to tell them what is. The county commissioners here, the DCCs here, the ACCs, when you go back, call your chiefs and assistant chiefs. Call them for a meeting and give them the message from government. It has been agreed that an assistant chief and illicit brew and bangi cannot coexist. Chief kwa location, na pombe, na bangi, hawezi kaa. And since alcohol and bangi cannot make a decision because it has no brains, the decision is to decide who is to give way to the other. The chief can call a small meeting with his wife and children and discuss on the way forward and decide either to or allow illicit brew and bangi to remain. That is a message you take to the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. When I was here, I went to all Meru stations on Friday night. I talked to the chiefs directly. Yesterday, I went to another Kikuyu station. I talked to them directly in a language that they understand because hii Kizungu labda inasumbua hawa. The supervisor of these chiefs and assistant chiefs is the assistant commissioner, the deputy county commissioner, the county commissioner, and the regional commissioner. Regional commissioner, county commissioner, deputy county commissioner, ACC, you have delegated responsibility to the chiefs and assistant chiefs, and delegation is a good style of management. But I want to remind you and caution you, when you went to the Kenya School of Government, you were taught one thing. You can delegate authority, you can delegate responsibility, but you will never delegate accountability. So you are accountable for the performance or the non-performance of your chiefs. So, if your chiefs are not performing and you have not sent them home, you are the one to go home. Because you are accountable. The buck stops with you in your region. The regional commissioner is the eye and the ear of the president here in Eastern Region. So if the president has said there will be no bangi and illicit alcohol, regional commissioner, it is your work on behalf of the President of the Republic of Kenya to make sure that happens. Because the president, unlike you, has a direct mandate with the people of Kenya. So I'm just talking to my colleagues, because I was one of you. Fred Dunga, we were with you in administration. Sasa nyinyi ni marafiki yangu. So mimi kama mzee nataka kumsaidia kidogo. Because mimi sitaki wengi marafiki zangu tulikuwa na nyinyi mwende nyumbani mapema, kwa sababu hakuna haja mtaenda kusubuana na mabibi. Kwa sababu kama ulizoea mshahara, ukija bila mshahara utatafuta pahali ya kukaa. Hiyo ndio ukweli. So, mimi naambia county commissioners yetu, DCCs, ACCs, please, endeni mfanye kazi yenu. Msipofanya, basi hakuna mambo ingine. We are allowing you 10 days to do what you need to do, to allow the PS and the CS to review your performance and make decisions. So, today is 12th. You have until the 22nd of this month to make a decision. Na tungetaka tumalizane na nyinyi mapema before the end of the financial year, so that tujipange in the new financial year. The financial year ends on June 30th. So we would like to know how many people we are paying, how many are on suspension on half pay, or no pay, and how many are interdicted on half pay, so that Raymond Omolo here can align his budget. The National Police Service is independent, yes. Dependence up to a certain extent. You have a salary that is paid by the public, there is a certain expectation. We have found some station commanders saying that they can do what they want, release suspects, and then conduct kangaroo courts. That is what is happening. Tutakosana na wewe bure na hakuna haja. Let's be nice people to each other. So, where we started in central Kenya, the war is won 70%. Rift Valley, we were there, is now about 50%. We are making good progress. I want to thank really our officers. Many of them have taken this matter seriously. I hope you do the same. A few of them are harassing the ones who are doing genuine business. Ndio tupigiwe kelele tusimamishe. Many people in fact have called me wanasema, ati polisi wanasema, hii maneno ya operation inakuwa ordered, after a month or so ina lose steam, tunawachana naye. Let me confirm. We are on this job until the 10th of August, 2027. Every day. Watu ya bandits walikuwa nasema huyu professor ati atachoka. Ati tumeona maminister wengi wanakujaga hapa, alafu hii maneno naisha, wanarudi. Watu wa North Rift wakidiki yako karibu mtoto na nyamaza. The same way professor umekalia hii banditry in North Rift, hata hii watu ya bombe wakalie. And you have my... So, tufanye kazi yetu. The truth of the matter, in my 15 years of service, I served in many places in the country. I came to the logical conclusion that a station commander whose operations of police revolve around with is the main thing in all these criminal activities. A police station is as efficient as a station commander. A police station is as rotten as a station commander. A police station is as corrupt as a station commander. Once you start receiving money from your constables and your corporals and your sergeants and the major and the OC crime. And so we are going to hold the station commanders responsible for whatever happens in your area of jurisdiction. So hapa Tharaka Nithi, where are the OCSs for Tharaka Nithi? Wapi ma OCS? Sasa hii Mama Kendi simwache atafute kazi nyingine ya kufanya. Tukitoka sasa, please sit down. Guys, sasa. I want to confirm what Professor has said. In our last meeting, under the President, we agreed we allow you to continue selling poison to our children. Please take your money elsewhere. And we are going to review those licenses so that we also help you by dealing with the problem at source. Much as we are blaming you, we are also responsible for allowing ethanol to get into this region. So we'll deal with it at source. Na nyinyi, the way Minister amesema wa Interior, all the illegal establishment, within the 10 days, you must not only shut them down, but take those people to court. And if we find one in your area of jurisdiction, haki ya Mungu utaenda nyumbani. Haki. An illegal establishment, we have been told there are 2,800. Mutaenda musifunge na hiyo watu waende kotini. Mkikula hongo siendelee, hiyo hongo ndio utaenda naye mpaka siku utakufa. There will be no other income from government. Those illegal establishments, you close them, that's your work. The legal ones, mtuachie. Sisi wenyewe, na watu ya KRA, watu ya counterfeit, watu ya KEBS, National Police Service at a higher level will deal with it. Nyinyi mudeal na these illicit ones. Kwa bangi, hiyo ni yenu because there is no establishment that has been licensed to sell bangi. So hiyo una excuse. Una. Na hii watu mnawajua. So please, let's agree and do what we need to do, and all will be well. Finally, governors, my sister and my brothers, mumetuangusha kidogo. Hata vile tunalamu hawa, hata nyinyi mkitafuta revenue, you have licensed everybody to be a bar and restaurant. Kila mtu katika hii area. Bar and restaurant ile sisi tunajua ni kama ile hoteli mimi nalala pale Meru. Iko na rooms karibu 40. Iko chakula, iko kila kitu. Iko mvinyo kidogo ya kutafuta usingizi, which is okay. Kwa wale ambaye wanataka kutafuta usingizi na njia hiyo. Sasa nyinyi magavana mumeenda kwa shopping center. There are 10 establishments. One is a shop. Another one is a small hotel. 8 of them are bar and restaurant. Na ndio isemekana iko na chakula, hapo nje iko mutura na smokies. And you decide that is a bar and restaurant. Hapo nje tu, just near the door, iko jiko hapo, iko mutura hapo mtu anatengeneza, tunasema hiyo ni bar and restaurant. Hata nyinyi mmetuangusha. The truth of the matter is that this problem was compounded with the advent of devolution. Before, when the DC was chairing the liquor licensing court, it was a very strict affair. And only those people doing the right thing were licensed. When governors came, wakitafuta revenue, ukilipa tu receipt application, you use that one as a license. So kila mtu anauza pombe, anauza kila kitu. We are asking the governors to consider, we are requesting you with a lot of humility. When we leave here, if you agree, you do what people have done, sit down with your county commissioner, police commander, Nakada, and review the licenses the way we are doing at the national government. Shut down most of these places. I want to thank the governor of Murang'a, Irogo Kangata, Mutu ya Barua. He has made a bold decision. He has shut down 1,800 establishments. Iyo watu wanamulima kisiasa, au 1,800. lakini yeye alikuwa na kura 1400. Sasa 1,800 minus 400,000 is negligible. Hii watu wanakunywa wanalala kwa mtaro, au sisi hata hatuna haja naye. Kwanza wamepoteza kitambulisho, so they cannot even vote for you. On the day of voting, they are drunk. So, let political leaders not fear this exercise. We don't want to take you the route Uhuru Kenyatta took you because aliumiza nyinyi. Alimwambia nyinyi mkamwaga pombe. Hiyo hapana kazi yenu. How can a member of parliament go kwenda kumwaga pombe? What he had failed to do is to know his men were not working. So instead ya kuambia wafanye kazi, akaambia MP wakafanya kazi ya polisi. Na MP wakapata shida mingi sana. Because wewe ni mtu umechaguliwa. Sasa pombe ya mtu taenda kumwaga on what ground? Let these people do their work. What we are asking the members of parliament here is to oversight. Oversight for us. Waangalie matusi, utanipatia report. That's all I need from you. Hiyo peke yake inatosha. Ukimaliza kuniambia what's going on, uachie hapo. Leave the rest to us. And that's all we are asking from leaders. Don't do anything else. Nimtuambie OCS fulani gari yake namba hii na hii ndio nasunguka every Friday kuchukua protection fee. Bas. But don't be malicious. Just be truthful because you are a leader. Don't msituletee fitina ya kuumiza officers. Just be truthful. And that's all we are asking for the leaders here. Ingine mtuachie, hao watu wako na crown, ni kazi yao. Kazi yao watafanya. And once we do that, we'll be fine. Number 2, tunauliza governors pia, tafadhalini. I talked to you in IBEC. I want to talk to the governors here. At least wale wetu, wapande yetu, at least nyinyi mtanisikiza. Please consider, kindly. The sin tax you collect, let it go to deal with sin. Pesa yote ya revenue ya pombe na bus, mukubali isiende kujenga barabara, tusaidie na kada, na tufanye advocacy, na tujenge rehabilitation centers for those who are beyond help. And as Professor Kindiki, with my assistance and the President, enhances the NACADA budget, kindly let us have a discussion on a framework that a certain percentage of the money that you collect, we shall give it to NACADA to continue doing the good job they are doing. And another percentage, you build and run a rehabilitation center in every county to deal with the cases that are beyond help. And the remaining of the money, you use it for advocacy. Radio advertisements, TV advertisements, road shows ya kupigana na ulevi. Hii pesa mdhomi njuke ya pombe, munajenga naye barabara, nani atapitia? Ama mochari. Sasa iko haja gani kujenga mochari alafu hii watu wakufe waende kwa hiyo mochari? Why don't we use this money to stop this? I'm requesting the governors, and I'm going to write to all of you so that in the next meeting we have a discussion to request you to agree. Everybody here has complained about the law and the very lenient penalties. In central Kenya, and I'm going to rope in the people from this region, I met with all the MCAs, and we made a proposal to harmonize all the laws. And I'll invite the MCAs from this region. We meet together with the others. We share what they have come up with. They have come up with a proposal to have very heavy penalties that will make this business unattractive. They have come up with laws to impound all vehicles carrying drugs and illicit alcohol and forfeit them to the county. They have come up with the proposals to shut down forever any establishment selling illicit alcohol and drugs. Very punitive proposals, and that is what will sort out this country. I'll be inviting the MCAs from these 5 counties to join their counterparts. We have a look at that law, and if you find it appropriate, you also take it to the county assembly and enact it. Again, We will talk to NACADA to look at the national law. We'll discuss with our members of parliament and the Senate how to strengthen those laws so that the issue of destruction of Bangi can be addressed. The issue of the destruction of illicit alcohol can be addressed. And I want to thank Professor for what you have proposed. You know, I've been urging you. I have told you, I have told the President from my own experience. Where did the rain begin to beat us in matter of security? Where did the rain begin to beat us? It is when, without adequate consultation, we denied our administrative officers the enforcement component. What was happening before, for the years I served? The chiefs and the DOs then would deal with all the small problems before they become a problem. They will deal with the boundary disputes before it leads to murder, before it leads to assault, before it leads to grievous bodily harm. They will deal with them. In fact, the station commanders kazi yao ilikuwa rahisi sana. Saa ile mtu amekufa, wanakuja na Land Rover, wanachukua, wanapeleka. And they were coming from 60, 80 kilometers away. How does somebody who is 80 kilometers away, the chiefs, assistant chiefs, the assistant county commissioners, with the support of the AP, were doing 90% of prevention of crime at source. 10% to apprehend the offenders and prosecute them. Prof, you have our support to reinstate the enforcement capacity of our officers of the National Government Administration. And when that happens, I can assure you, Professor, na utaniuliza, within 1 year, hii shida yote tuko nayo hii Kenya itaisha. Because saa hii chief anajua kila mtu mbaya, lakini yako na watu hapo ya kumsaidia. The police have not been very kind to the National Government Administrative Officers. Wakiwaita wakuja iko crime, wanasema kama hakuna mafuta, hawendi. But hiyo mafuta si ati gari haina mafuta, you know what I mean. Police officers, because of the independence, had also became a little bit arrogant and demeaning to the National Government Administrative Officers. Na kusema sisi ni independent, sisi tuko na Inspector General of Police. Even committees that were functioning well before, where the DC would give instructions to people within the district. Today, anasema, wacha tuulize Nairobi. Sasa Inspector General of Police akiwa Nairobi, how will he deal with the problem in Tharaka Nithi? Let us have that enforcement capacity, and let us agree as a country, much as the National Police, the Police National Service is independent, our respective security committees be given autonomous authority to make decisions that are peculiar to that particular area of jurisdiction. And I can tell you, once we do that, hii mambo yetu itakuwa sawa sawa. So mimi nikimalizia, it is true, Ethiopian border, ndio Bangi inapitia, hapo iko watu ya custom, iko DCI, iko NIS, iko administration. Bangi inakuja kuharibu watoto wetu, inapita, nyinyi mko pale. Mnachukua haki yenu, watoto wetu wanaumia. So watu wako kwa border, please go and do your job. If you can't do it, allow us to bring a new team that can work in that area, because that is what we should kwa show inaitwa Kirelembe. Mimi naomba na viongozi wetu hapa katika Mlima Kenya, wale wa Azimio. Sisi wanajua tuko na shida ya pombe na bangi, na wanajua vile tumeumia katika area hii. Ile mtu wanatembea na yeye ni ile inaitwa Jakoya. Ndio mgeni wa heshima wakija hapa kutembea. What are we telling our children? This is a man who went on national television and said that bangi should not only be smoked, but encourage people to grow. And then this is a person you are bringing to a region that is having a serious problem of bangi. What message are you sending to our young people? I want to ask those leaders from this region, please, when you come here, come and talk your things. But I beg you, don't come with Wajakoya. Because what are you telling us here? Bosi ya kina Martha Karua. Ile mtu amesidikisha hao ni Wajakoya. Na anasema ati apigiwe makofi. Kwani watu wanatutaka kazi gani na kutuchekelea? When you bring Wajakoya to this region, you are simply laughing at us. Ile mtu anasema ati bangi tukuze, ati bangi, alafu wanaleta hiyo mtu anaitwa Wajakoya hapa. Si wewe utajua vile utafanya? Please, I want to ask our national leaders, save us this Wajakoya thing. It's very embarrassing to us as leaders. As leaders, tuko na shida mingi. I think we have a big problem. Mambo ya online marketing, again with the laws, we'll look at it. Mambo ya diversion of ethanol, we'll have a meeting with the professor. I want to ask all leaders, please sit with our teams. I want to urge the governors to talk to the county commissioners and have a good relationship. When we came in, when we work together, I want to ask these governors to consider where you have challenges of budgetary, put money aside to give allowances to the National Police Reserve. Where there are issues of transport, county governors buying and maintaining vehicles to be used by these officers. Because hata ukijenga barabara, ujenge hospitali na watu yako hapana lala, you are wasting your time. So please, I want to encourage our officers of the National Government Administration. Kaa karibu na gavana wako, kaa karibu na mjumbe wako. We used to build even canteens for police officers. Wale tulikuwa tunapelekana mzuri. Lakini kama wewe kazi yako ni kuchukua pesa ya banki, hakuna mjumbe atakujengea ofisi. Mjaribu kukaa na hawa waheshimiwa, wako na pesa ya CDF, hawa county governors wako na pesa ya county. If you have got a good relationship, you can make a lot of progress in your area of jurisdiction. Nakumbuka zamani sisi tulikuwa tunafanyia mpaka ma-OCS pate wakiondoka. Siku hizi hakuna. Wewe umekuja umeharibu area. Balia pombe. Ati siku ya kuondoka ati watu wakufanyie farewell. Hakuna mtu watu wanasema hiyo mtu akwende. Hata hajaondoka. Wote anangoja nini? You find the community loves you and the community appreciates your work because you have come to give a service. Finally, county team ya Isiolo na ya Meru. Hii maneno ya watu kukufa hatuwezi kubali. Hatuwezi. Dunga. Who is the county Omoding? Wewe mtu wangu. Unajua pahali wewe. Can you have a joint security committee and sort out that nonsense on the Meru Isiolo border? Pale Igembe North, watu wamekuja kunia machozi. Cross-border cattle rustling leading to death is unacceptable. And you guys, if you want, you can sit down and sort it out. Officer, I know you. Omoding, I worked with you. Why do we have a problem? And mimi najua nyinyi ni watu ya kazi. How many days? Yeah? 1 week? Omoding? You know you are called Geoffrey like me. Nasitaki professor akuumize kwa sababu ni mtu wangu. Please, you sit down and within 1 week, it's something that if you people sit down, you can sort out. Please sit down. Najua nikija area, I also pick a lot of things. Nimekaa hapa siku 4-5 cha nienda Nairobi. Kwa sasa unajua mimi nimefungua milango, kila mtu ananiambia what is happening. Jana nikiwa kwa TV, iko mtu ametuma message, nikaforwardia RC akatumana. Akakuta chief mwenyewe ndio iko kwa counter. Sasa chief amekula nyumbani. Because Let me tell you, within 10 days, we'll have a full report on who is working and who is not working. Because sisi ni watu ya raia, ni watu ya grassroots. Na tumekubalia wananchi kutuongelesha bila kuogopa. Hata nikija hapa iko mlevi amenisimamisha. Akasema wewe Rigiji, nipatie chakula ya kukula na utusimamishie pombe. Kama ingefungwa singekunywa. As I was just coming from here. Nimeona mlevi anasimamisha, askari wakijaribu kufukuza, sema acha nisikize hii mtu. He has a point. Uko wapi? Wapi OCS ya area near here? Sasa wewe umeanguka. Sisi nakuja conference na tunakuja hapa, minister yako iko hapa, PS iko hapa, niko hapa. Sasa what do you have to say? Utasema nini? Sit down. Lakini wacha pia mfanye kazi ijulikane tulikuwa area. Sababu mkifanya kazi itajulikana professor alikuwa hapa, nilikuwa area. Sisi hatuna maneno. So I want to thank everybody, and I want to say that I want to commend Professor Kindiki and his peers. For a long time, we have officers who are persistent and following to the detail, going every part of the country to deal with the security issues. I want to say in the decision to pick Professor Kindiki and Raymond Omono, the president picked the right people for the right job, and we are grateful. And Professor, you don't have to be popular. Hii kazi na nilikuambia, hakuna mtu ya kupenda wewe. You have said you are going to lose many friends. Since you are my friend, mimi sitaki tukosane, mimi I will do the right things. Utanisikia kwa pombe ama kwa banki. Utanisikia tu kwa mambo ya kahawa, mambo ya chai, so mimi siwezi pitana na wewe. I know we will remain friends. Finally, why are we doing this? Many people walikuwa nasema, Rigathi Gachagua ametengwa na President William Ruto. Ametolewa ile kazi ya maana ya kwenda ng'ambo, kwenda kufungua miradi, amepewa kazi ya pombe na banki, kazi ya reja. Sasa rais huyo amenipatia kazi ya pombe na banki, alinipatia kazi ya kahawa na chai na maziwa. So mimi nikilala nikajiuliza, hii kahawa tukitengeneza, hii majani chai, hii maziwa, nani atafanya kazi huko? So we must first fix the problem of our young people as we fix coffee, tea and milk. That is why we are so passionate. We had a successful coffee conference. We are having a tea conference in Kericho in 2 weeks' time. We have another conference for milk in Nakuru. We have another one in Eldoret for maize. We'll be back here for one for Mera and Moruka. Watu ya Nakada nitaita nyinyi na hao viongozi ya Meru. We want to have a discussion. Yeah, let's have a discussion. I don't want us to wash our dirty linen here, mbele ya watu. But we need to have a conversation so that we agree vizuri kama viongozi. Sio ni sawa viongozi? Can I convene that meeting? Let me convene that meeting. We have a discussion so that we agree on what we are doing. But what we are saying is, President William Ruto na mimi na huyu professor and the rest of government, hatuwezi kubali a whole generation to be wiped out when we are in office. Tutaambia nini wa Kenya? Tukirudi hapa 2027 kutafuta kura na pombe naendelea na bangi, tutaambia hao ati nini? Sasa mimi sitaki, president ameniambia nipigane na hii maneno, na sitaki unga yangu imwagike. Unajua ile tabu nilipata ndio nifike hapa. Nilikuwa na shida mingi sana. I really need this job to keep it. So nikiona wewe utamwaga unga yangu, nitamwaga yako kwanza. It is only fair. Si ndio mofaya? Ukiona mtu anataka kumwaga yako, na akitaka kumwaga ugali na yeye anamwaga mpaka kitoweo. So you people, and by the way, we are not bad people. Tukianza kuvuta nyinyi bila kuongea na nyinyi. Lakini sisi ni watu wazuri, ni wa Kristo, na ni watu wa heshima, na we are fair also. You know, in law they say the rules of natural justice, no man should be condemned unheard. So najua PS atampatia nafasi pia muongee. Lakini pia sisi tumemwambia malalamishi yetu with a lot of humility, with tremendous respect. Please, please assist President William Ruto and us to have a sober Kenya. Na ni kweli ba ilikuwa State House ulifunga. It was only fair for symbolic message. How would you say you are fighting pombe hii na pahali wewe unakaa ndio imejaa? Sasa wewe unaambia watu wasikunywe na wewe ni mlevi kutoka asubuhi. So ba tulifunga. Kwangu pale Karen, even if I wanted kufungua ba, pastor anakaa huko hawezi kubali. So huko I don't even need to be persuaded. Huyo mama ni mkali, hawezi kubali nini niweke ba huko. Hata wageni wangu wale wanakujaga wanauliza kama kuna kitu ya kuteremuka, wanapewa maji. At the best Coca-Cola. So sisi hatuna haja na hiyo maneno. So na hata nyinyi please. And officers, those who drink, it's okay. It's fine. But kufika jiani mkojo imekusukuma. Umemwambia simama, nikojoe. Umeenda umefungua, umeelekeza kitu yako pale, anakuangalia. Hiyo not. Hakuna. Wewe ni USBD. Unakunywa kwa club. Mnakunywa pale na raia. Unaenda. Na watu wanaangaliana hapo. Wewe heshima yako itatoka wapi? How? Wenu, OCS, constable wako pale, umefanya yeye bibi yako. Unatoka kwa nyumba yako ya station commander, unaenda kulala kwa line. Asubuhi unatoka na towel, constable anakuona ukitoka. Nani atakuheshimu kwa hiyo station? Nobody will respect you. Kama unataka kuoa constable yako, peleka kwa kanisa uwekwe ring, kila mtu ajue na mpigwe picha. Adhe umtoe kwa line umlete kwa nyumba yako. That is where things are not working. How many instances have we had? OCS amepigwa bunduki na constable. Wewe umeenda umetumia crown, umelalia girlfriend yake. Sasa anaona vile uko na crown, there is nothing he can do, amechukua risasi, amekupiga, umekufa. Umewacha hiyo girlfriend, umewacha bibi yako na watoto. Na yeye amechukua hiyo, amejiua. Let us also be dignified people, especially at this level. This level of leadership. Nyinyi ni viongozi. You are leaders in your own right. So when you have wayward behavior in the station, moving around with officers below you, kuchukua mabibi ya wenyewe, wengine you move with the suspects. Yeah, that is the truth. Wacha nimwambie ukweli ama nisimwambie? Yeah. See, hata nikiwa tu hapa nimepata ripoti. One of the most notorious brewers alikuwa amewekwa na USBD. Sasa hii bomba ingeisha namna gani? Ingeisha namna gani? Mama mwenye kuuza sumu, boyfriend yake ni USBD. Aingia pale, anatoa bunduki kwa waist, anawekelea pale. Anamwambia mama umesimamiwa na serikali? Sasa what will happen? What will happen? Unajua nilikuwa station inaitwa Navaholo 1995. Mtu akakuja akaniambia hii chief yako ananisumbua na tutaonana hivi karibuni. Amelalia kwangu, anatumia crown, amenitoa kwa boma yangu, tutaonana. Mimi nikaita hao machifu, nikasema vile mimi nasikia, sikuambiwa ni nani, lakini hiyo mzee vile ameongea, kuna mtu atakuja kukata makende hapa. I am not a prophet. Yeah? Within 10 days, yeah? Chief alikatwa makende, ikawekwa kwa shoestring, ikakuwa hanged kwa shopping center to send a message to chiefs. Nimeuliza juzi after so many years, nikapiga simu kwa mtu rafiki yangu akaniambia huko hakuna chief na karibia bibi ya mwenyewe. So I don't want to encourage wananchi wafanyie nyinyi hivyo, but there's a possibility. Nyinyi wewe please officers and be effective. I wish you well. I know you have what it takes to do the right thing. Again, I want to remind you, you are also parents, evidence to secure success.